This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so last week I'll give you a recap of what we covered. Last week we spoke about outbound strategies. So there are different. Rohan, you went into. Hello. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Rohan.
Okay. So just a request: if you're not speaking, please keep your call on mute. There's some background noise. So we were discussing about the outbound strategies. We started with the FIFO, the stringent FIFO. We spoke about the strategies like small and large quantity, fixed bin strategy, shelf life, partial quantity, and small and large quantity. So these strategies we covered in detail in a previous session, and we understood the importance of stock removal rule. Okay, so today we'll be starting a new topic which is wave management. Okay, and in wave management we discussed high level what are we going to cover. We spoke about what are the main activities of wave management, what are the benefits of wave management, and then uh, what we achieve from wave management, and then we are yet to go into the details about it. So before we go into wave management, any questions from anyone from previous sessions?
Hello, hi everyone.
Hey, hi.
So I was reviewing and studying about like this transaction slash n slash SAWM ADGI.
Hmm.
So like you said, there were there were some changes made when you were working in some project. Like you made scraping bin, and in that like GI was there. So
Hmm.
I have to ask like are the products when we do like when we post GI, are the products moving to scraping bin or getting GI from there, like they get out of the warehouse from scraping bin when we do GI
Yes, they
using
go out to the
ADGI.
warehouse from the bin itself. That's correct.
Okay, okay. So they go out of the warehouse, and if we do like that movement from one storage type to other, then what happens? Like
One storage type to another is you move the stock
storage location.
from.
Okay.
Okay, stock. You're
Yeah.
saying stock or storage type? Storage location or storage type?
Storage location. Storage location.
So when you move from one, so basically you have several storage location in the plant level. So if you want to move the stock to IM storage location, if you have a storage location which is not EWM managed, you want to move that in one step. You can use that particular, uh, I think, transaction mode and move it to an IM storage location.
And then why it is named like posting GI? Posting.
So it's a goods issue, right? So you're consuming the stock from EWM warehouse
Hmm. Okay. And moving it to where?
to another store location or to scrapping, but the stock is getting goods issued from that particular store location.
Okay. 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 And one more question, like you also said, you did this by like you executed this ADGI by batch job. So
Well,
how to
this is
assign it?
a standard SAP process. We tell basis team to set up batch jobs. I would recommend
Okay.
you to go online and read some basics of SAP where you can find batch job information. So it's basically any
Mhm.
transaction you can run in background mode automatically. If you want to run some transaction automatically every 15 minutes, 13 minutes, so we request
Mhm.
a basis team to set up a batch job. So if you go online and if you read about batch job, it is very you know very easy, and some quick activations are required in system and you can achieve that.
Okay, okay. And one more thing, in like slotting activity, how to like implement? You said like we implement bodies, so that is also a confusion. Like how to implement bodies.
Mhm. So you will not be implementing bodies. So ABAP team will be
Okay,
implementing bodies.
okay, okay, okay.
So you have to request your technical team to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That is customer specific code which your ABAP will activate for you.
And just last doubt, like in fixed bin scenario, do we have to do that? Like we have to uh, apply the strategy for storage types, right? Then assign it to fixed bin, or directly like we may we assign the product to fixed bin and they move to
No,
fixed
you
bin.
at a storage type level, there needs to be a checkbox that it's a fixed bin storage type.
Okay, okay, but we don't need to like go in SPRO and maintain that storage type strategy.
You have to activate that at storage type. The checkbox should be there
Okay,
in the storage type before you maintain the bin.
okay. And like about
Hmm.
one more question about bin capacity. Like where
Hmm.
how do we maintain bin capacity also?
If you go to slash and SCWM LS02 transaction, there in the bin
Mm-hmm.
master you can maintain what is the maximum weight, what is the maximum volume you can maintain for a
Okay,
bin.
okay, okay. Mm.
Any other questions from anyone? Alright, then let's go ahead with the topic, next topic, which is wave management. So we did speak briefly about wave management. Wave management is above. Okay, you're on wave now. Thank you. So wave management is basically the main action of wave activity of wave management is to create tasks automatically. And then I was explaining you the benefit of creating tasks at the right time. So you may create a deliveries, the customer or the sales team may create deliveries 1 week in advance, but you don't directly go and pick it. You are more interested in when the truck is coming, what is the goods issue date for that particular delivery, and then what is the total picking cycle of your warehouse, and accordingly you go and pick. So if you need 4 hours to pick and bring the material at the staging area, so if the truck is coming at 5 o'clock, we should start at 1 o'clock. So the right time is very important. You should not be too early, neither you should be too late. Okay, so we'll see how we can achieve that. Then again, I said wave is we are talking about the integrated scenario. Wave functionality only helps us grouping, not only creating the task but also grouping deliveries together. So if you have 10 deliveries going at the same time, so we want the products to be grouped together so that they can be picked together. Either the same products should be grouped together, or you know if you are going to a storage type, to pick one material rather than pick four materials of 4 5 deliveries, so that when you're efficiently picking the parts. So when you group a delivery and create a task, we want another level of optimization, which is achieved using warehouse order creation rule. That optimization is to prepare an order so that you are not creating order for each delivery, you're creating order for multiple deliveries together. Okay, so one order can have items of more than one delivery. Okay, so or it can have one order can have one product for multiple deliveries. Okay, so let's see how we can achieve that. So in terms of configuration, the first thing is we need to activate wave management at a process type level. So we have created a process type and we will go and activate wave management. Okay, so as soon as you activate, system will try to create waves, and when it tries to create waves, it will look for a master data. There is a master data in wave management which is called as wave template. And in wave template, we define three important parameters. One, we assign the wave type, we assign the wave category, and we assign the time attributes, which is very important. Yeah. So wave type, basically you can give wave names like it's a wave for production, it's wave for STOs, wave for routes, and then you can give wave category so that you can categorize them separately from the perspective of grouping. We'll discuss that in Veros order creation rule. And time attributes, this is basically your picking cycle you're going to maintain in system. Okay, so we'll see that in system while we maintain. I'll try to give you more examples. So this master data, and then there is a determination of wave template. So basically, wave means grouping, right? So you maintain different parameters for grouping here and your timing. So grouping of deliveries and the time when your wave should be released or the task should be created. You give some time attributes. So this is how you're going to do that waving. Okay, and then the waving, you want to have a separate waving for production issues. You want to have separate waving for sending products to another plant, separate grouping for STO. You want to have a separate grouping uh, for deliveries going by FedEx, by deliveries going by DHL. So why we need separate groupings? Once you understand this, you'll understand um, this aspect as well. Why we need to determine. So basically, you have different time attributes. For example, your FedEx guys, they come once a week, but your DHL guys, they come once every day. So you have something called as template determination on when the delivery should be created. Okay, every Monday or every Friday. So we'll discuss about that. Okay, but for now, let us first go step by step. First activate wave management and then do the master data, and then we'll see more about the determination. So let us go first. And so while I'm maintaining these Master data, I'll explain you what you should keep in mind while maintaining them. So first of all, we need to activate it, right? First step is activation. Survey management is part of goods issue. Set the automatic generation, wave generation for warehouse process type, WH35, and a process type is 2010, and you can see auto wave is assigned here. Okay, this got automatically assigned because we copied it from Y214, so it got assigned here. That's okay. It's assigned. But so now, till now we were using this process type, but it did not generate wave because the next master data was not maintained, which was wave template. Okay, don't worry, these transactions are listed in the Word document. So if you go to the wave template, it's blank. Okay, now when you create a wave template master data, okay, let's create a new entry. Let us say template 10. Okay, and give a description, waves for outbound. So waves for outbound because we have just one kind of an outbound for our pumps, right? So we have one customer and we are using these waves. So you can have basically different several templates, several master data. So let's say we create a template for our outbound, the material that we are maintaining, just sending to one customer. It's a basic outbound. Basically all our outbounds are part of that. So let's say for our outbounds we are creating one wave template which has to be automatically released. That means automatically released means when I say release, okay, when we say wave, there are two things happening here. One, wave creation, which gets created as soon as you create a delivery, and wave release. Release means, it give you an example. Your delivery, your truck is going to come at 5. You're going to create task at 1. So when you create task at 1, that time what happens? System releases wave and initiates the task creation. Okay, so 1 is your release time, and how it basically we're saying release it at 1. That means at 1 automatically create task. So wave, when we see a wave in system, like once we go ahead, we'll see wave also in system. Wave have a indicator release. The moment you click on release, task the system creates a task. So sometimes what happens during manual processing, we would like to click on that button release. Okay, we want to manually release. So if you click on that manual release, then it creates a task automatically. Okay, so basically always we want system to automatically release. See, there will be nobody in the warehouse who's going to check all the waves and go and release them all the time. So we will give a time 1 o'clock and it should automatically get released at that time. Okay, so release means the task gets created. Okay, now we have something called as wave type and wave category. So what is wave type? I told you you can create several types of waves. Waves for see, it is saying waves for stock removal. Why we need several types? Because when you are going to search the waves in the monitor, you can basically see a particular type of wave has what all what all deliveries assigned to for it assigned to it, and then for this wave type, basically, see, your truck is not only going to come at 5, it can only also come at 8, it will also come at 1, it will come at in the morning at 8 or 9, whenever it is planned to come. So you can have several waves during a day. So I want to only search the waves for that particular type. Okay, so only for production process, only DHL waves I want to search, only FedEx waves I want to search. So I'll give that criteria in the wave type. So I want to see all the waves which are created using this master data. So I'll create a wave type that will help me to search them. Okay, in the warehouse monitor. So we'll also see that while we are testing how we can get look for waves based on a wave type. So I'll say new entry WH35 and I'll say wave type WT01 waves for outbound. You can have several other types, waves for production, waves for production supply, waves for FedEx, waves for DHL. You can have waves for supply to another plant of yours. So yes, in the wave type here. Okay. Now wave category, I want you to park this for now because we are going to use this in warehouse order creation rule. The next optimization that I was talking about, once you group, then you want the orders to be optimized properly. So in the warehouse order creation rule, you have this field which we'll be using there. Okay, so I'm not creating a new one for now. We'll see that during the creation rule. So there are some more indicators here. What should happen, like if there is locking, system should automatically delivery is assigned to a wave. But if there is locking, we say just wait for a few seconds and then again try to assign. There will be locking. Technically, locking is happening in the background. And this is called as assignment after wave release. So if a wave is released at 1 o'clock, do we want another delivery which is coming, do we need to assign to the same wave? Generally we don't. Once the wave is released, we close that wave. Okay, so what happens if, so we also need to think about exceptions. So what happens when a wave is released? Wave release, you just put it in your mind, wave release means task getting created. Okay, so when I say wave release, that means for that particular group we are creating a task. Okay, so we have created a group here. Okay, and then we are creating a task. So when I say task, it means wave release, during wave release. Okay, so mm, so what happens when a wave is released? That means system is trying to create a task and one or two items are not there in the inventory or in the warehouse. See, when you go to customers, when you see product EWM being implemented, not always you'll have all the products. People who have already worked in warehouse may know. There are instances where some part is not there because the vendor has not supplied, got damaged, or there was some planning issue. So there can be lot of several. There can be several issues. Your product may not be available, or it got the bin got damaged, or you did some physical inventory or something. So what should happen when such a situation arises? You say leave that in the wave. You're not going to remove it. So the wave, if there are 5 items in the wave, five delivery items, task will be created, let's say for 4. The fifth item remains in the wave. You can decide whether it remains in the wave or you want to remove from the wave and put it into a new wave. So new wave means the next time system is going to create a task tomorrow. So it should assign it to the next wave tomorrow. Okay. So create task to a alternate source bin immediately. So you can give a bin from where it can create a task. Okay, so this is also possible where if you have a dummy bin, you can give that bin, and whenever the picking happens, till then you'll get this. You have the stock in that bin. You don't have it in the right bin. You have it in uh, a alternate bin where you would want system to create a task for now, and then we'll manage it. So mostly we keep it as leave it in the wave. So if it's error, just leave it, and somebody will go and manually check why what happened. Okay. So we would now go to this template. So this is the template, but it's incomplete till we maintain the time attributes. Now this is very important. Okay, so basically just think from a supervisor's point of view. Okay, so you're a supervisor. I'm going to ask you a question while I'm maintaining this uh, time attributes. I will tell you, when the truck comes. Okay, so let's say this warehouse, this is pump manufacturing warehouse. The truck comes every day 4 times. Okay, so okay, so the first time the truck comes at, let me do one thing. Let me copy from another wave template. It will be faster for me to maintain this. So let's maybe 34, maybe having something. Okay, okay. So there are too many things to maintain here. So let me copy that from here. Is it proper? Coming proper? No. The zeros are not getting copied. Hmm. Okay, never mind. I'll try to maintain myself. Yeah. Hmm. So let's say 4 times the truck is going to come. Okay. So then I'm going to say okay. So they tell me the truck is going to come at um, we said 5, right? So let's say the truck comes at, so if you go to the right, I want my process, the wave to be completed. I mean, the products to be in the staging area by the time the truck comes. Okay, so let's say truck comes at 11 a.m. First truck comes at 11 a.m. Second one comes at 1 o'clock, or maybe 3 o'clock. Yeah. Third one comes at let me say 12. Yeah. 12, 3, 6, 12, 3, 6 o'clock. Okay, and another one comes at 9. Okay, so this time my all the deliveries which are picked should be there in the staging area before 12. Okay, by 12. So basically what we are doing is, for deliveries which are coming at 12, we are, what time, I'll ask the supervisor what time you want the system users to start picking. They'll say for the delivery which is at 12, I need total 3 hours, so release it on 9 o'clock. Okay, so delivery which is at uh, uh, delivery which is at 3 o'clock, 1500 hours, release them at 12. Okay, so delivery which is at 1800 hours, release them. So there's a 3 hours duration for getting the products in the staging area. Okay, so this is a release time. Now we are going in a time, so we are following time, we are not following days. Okay, so now when you say release time is at 9, then there is also something called as cutoff. So basically deliveries are assigned and deliveries are getting released. Task is getting created for deliveries. Now what happens, technically when the deliveries are getting assigned and you're releasing, both can happen at the same time. So the release time started at 12 and there is a delivery created at the same time. So while programmatically, System is trying to create a task. There is another delivery which is coming from. There is another delivery which is coming to get assigned to the same wave. This may create a conflict, right? This may create some locking in system, and this may create inconsistencies. So generally, what we do a cutoff. So like how you when you board a plane, you have a time to board. After that you're not allowed to get into the flight, right? Same way we say every delivery. This is the last boarding call for the deliveries which are created by 8. If any delivery wants to be goods issued by 12, okay, you should create them before 8:55. Okay, if you create at 8:57, sorry, we cannot take you to the same way. You have to go to the next wave. Okay, so this I've given 5 minutes enough time. Okay, so generally you can keep it 2-3 minutes also, but we need some gap between deliveries cutoff and the release. So we want to basically avoid deliveries getting assigned to the wave at the time the task is getting created. Okay, so 11:55, 14:50, everywhere I'll just reduce 5 minutes. So now, okay, let's say, all right, task gets created. Now can you give, I'll ask my supervisor, can you give me the time, how much time it takes for you to complete your picking? He'll say once the wave is released, the users will start picking the waves at 9:15. Okay, that waves will get completed at picking will get completed at 10:15. 1 hour it takes for the picking. Then they would start the packing, which will start at 10:30. After 15 minutes, then packing will complete at 11, and then they put the pallet in the staging area, and staging gets complete around 11:45. And the wave, ideally staging gets completed 5, and we want to say 15 minutes buffer, if in case there is some delay. So these are my planned time intervals on how the products would be placed into the staging area. So again, 12:15 I'll start my picking, 15:15 here. So what I call them, generally these are called options, template options. But when I discuss with users, I call them, this is your picking cycle. So first picking cycle starts at 8, 9, 12, 15, 1800 hours, and then the cycle gets completed. So how many picking cycles you have? So generally, when you go for this bigger warehouse, fast warehouse, your team is only going, they're only going for picking 4 times, and when they go, they bring as much stock as possible. Okay, or they there's a team who is doing picking, there's a team who is doing staging, there's a team who is doing packing. Here we have done as if the same team is doing everything. Okay, so I'll just tell you some more examples. Let me complete this. So it takes 1 hour. Yeah, takes 15 minutes for packing to start. Okay, and it takes 30 minutes to complete the packing. And 45 minutes to complete the staging. Okay, and this is the wave completion time. So what we have done, we have maintained a time attributes here. So this is nothing but my picking cycles. Okay, so now let me see if I can copy them. Okay, cool. So now, for example, this is my cutoff, this is my release, this is my pick start. So let us first, simulate here how the assignment will happen. Okay, so these are my release, these are my wave attributes. Okay, so let us do some calculation first. Yeah. So you might have realized that once I've maintained the time attribute, system is also assigned something called as factory calendar. So if there is a weekend, it will also consider that. Okay. So this factory calendar got all automatically assigned from the warehouse assignment. Warehouse or plant assignment got assigned. This is calendar. So this calendar, if there are any holidays or if there are any, there is weekends, it will consider those days off as well. Okay. So pick start, pick completed. Then 10:30. What did we say? That is like a pack start, pack complete. Pack start, pack complete. We said this is wave complete, and this is the staging complete. Okay. Now we have picking cycles. Okay, so these are the four picking cycles. Now you can see there are pickers who are, you know, starting at 9, they put the stock in the staging area by 12, then they come again and then do the next picking. Okay, and then they keep on doing that. So the same picker is following everything here. Sometimes, you can have, waves like this where, you just, there are pickers, they're just picking, and there are people who are just packing. So you can do like this also, like this guy can complete picking at 10:15, and then if it's a very fast warehouse and you get truck every hour, so in some production process we even release wave every 15 minutes. Okay, so there is a guy who's putting the stock in the staging area for production every 15 minutes. It's that fast. So you can also make wave templates where the pick completes at 10:15, and then the next wave can be at pick start can be at 10:30. Yeah, I'm just saying you can basically make sure that the next one starts at 10:30, 10:15. Picking gets completed, the release will be, let's say, 10:25, 10:15. Yeah, so the next wave can start at 10:15, and he'll start picking for the next material, for the so he finishes the pick here, then he picks the next material and start delivering, then again next, then again next. And there is a packing guy, so packing guy is starting at 10:30, he's doing separately packing. At 10:30 is completing by 11, and then by the time he gets the next material at 11:45, 11:15 maybe, oh, 11:45, and then he completes that material. And then let me put this 12, maybe 12, 15. And then there is another guy who's taking material from this packing area into the staging area. Okay, so you can have several independent teams that are working here, but we have for now, for our understanding, we're just taking the same person doing everything. So there are separate tasks. There is a separate task for picking, separate task for packing, separate task for staging. So there are separate people who will be doing that. So for now we haven't configured packing and staging, but just wanted to explain that when you're designing this, it's not always the same person doing everything, and you definitely don't need 3 hour gaps. Sometimes in production, we are not waiting for truck when you're supplying to production. We are just waiting for that. There's something called as a when the production generally they are asking product, they have something like a trolley tow train kind of a uh, yeah. So this is like a tow train. This kind of a train comes into from the production area, picks the pallets and goes to production. So I had a one good screenshot. I don't know, lost it. So this guy, so this is this guy is carrying product parts of production. So there is no truck which is coming, but this is a tow train which is coming and picking the parts for the pallet. So so basically from warehouse you're supplying to production, right? So there also we need to see how frequently it comes. So there are 5 6 tow train operators, and every 15 minutes one tow train operator comes and tries to get material for the for the production. So it can be as close as 15 minutes, it can be up to 1 hour, 2 hours. It all depends on how your warehouse works. Okay, so let's say this to understanding for understanding purpose, we have maintained this as a time attribute. Okay, now this time attribute is for outbound. Okay, you so you can have several. This is outbound for pumps. You can have another templates. This is template 10. You can have another template 20, where see basically one warehouse is not restricted to one process, right? So you can have another template where another time attributes, where another picking, there is a two picking group, there is another picking, this is one picking group, there's another picking group which picks raw material for spares, and their cycle is totally different. They have one truck a day, so they start at 1, finish at 5. So just one template for them, one option for them. There's a, as I told you, for production you may have production which is every 15 minutes. You will have a third template which may have one to every 15 minutes, maybe even you know 20 30 templates. So you have several templates, several time attributes. So how, which time attribute should be applied for your deliveries, how to get that right? So here this attribute is for outbound, this attribute is for production supply, which is very fast, and this attribute, this wave template is for outbound, this is for production supply, this is for raw material spares. Okay, so this raw material spares, which when should the delivery get assigned? So now as of now we haven't told the system which attribute for which delivery. So what is the criteria? So I have my criteria here. For example, the outbound, the delivery type can be a criteria. I will say whenever the outbound they have delivery OUTB, but you may say okay, even raw material spares has that has that particular document type. So let me say process type. Process type is, let's say for production, I for outbound we are using 2010. When we are going to use raw material spares, we are going to use, let's say, 2020, or we configure a different delivery type. And when we are supplying for production, let's say we create a separate process type. So either, the process type can be different, or we can configure a different document type. We can create OUTB or COUTB. We'll see how we can map different custom document types. And let's say this is OUTP standard SAP. So we can have, based on document type or process type, we can assign this. So basically, how different is a delivery for outbound to a delivery outbound to customer to a delivery outbound to spares? Okay, or outbound for production? How different? What is the difference between the delivery? We need to factor that out. Look at the delivery data, factor that out, and then use that for determining. So, for example, here we have, for determination, we have a transaction. Okay, slash /NCWM slash GCMC, or it can be route. So for example, or it can be a carrier, or here I will say, here the route is generally, different, and here it's a different route. Or here I would say the carrier is, here my criteria would be carrier is, let's say, FedEx, which is always working for my spares. Here I will create an internal carrier. Like, I don't need external carrier, I'll say internal carrier, and then for those deliveries I'll assign the internal carrier, and then that gets picked up. Okay, or I think standard system gives us, several options based on which we can determine the wave. Okay, so we go to this transaction GCMC wave management engine, and we'll say here what criteria should be used. So I'll come here, I'll say, okay, so if it is going to a particular customer, if it is going to a particular category of documents, okay, if it's going to a particular route, particular document type, okay, so you have to select which criteria you want to use. You can also add process type to it using configuration. Okay, so how will you differentiate your different deliveries? So you don't want a production delivery to assign a wave template. So production deliveries will have a different document type, OUTP, and you will assign the wave template. Okay, so production, so basically what I, if my document types are different, I would say OUTP production assign 30, outbound OUTB assign 10, and outbound for STO ZOTB, whatever it is, I'll say 20. Okay, so here we are basically determining, and obviously the warehouse as well, which is WH35 in all three of the case, and all three cases. And we are saying, when it is production, the delivery type of the production will be this, then so and so time attribute should be applied, so and so wave template should be applied. So you have to decide based on what parameter your wave template gets assigned. Okay, so here I will not save this, I would maintain to test a, to keep it simple. What I will do, I'll just say here that my document category is outbound. So for all outbound deliveries in warehouse WH35, so this is a very small warehouse, right? We just have one picking cycle. I mean, not in complex in terms of, multiple deliveries. So I'm just keeping one, keeping it simple because we want to test it. Okay, so I would keep it as one. So all my outbound deliveries, they are assigned to wave template 10. So we have seen in deliveries we have a document category, document type. So we say here all document categories should be assigned to wave template 10. Okay, so let me also validate here. There is something called as wave determination procedure. Okay, so here we say warehouse WH35. Okay, so here we say for OUTB what is the procedure. So this is like the message determination of pricing procedure we have. So here we would say, it should not be based on OODL. That means which zero ODL. So we'll see zero ODL. What is the condition type? So this is zero ODL. Let me see whether it will pick up our condition type or not. Just a little bit of place. Okay. Oh, zero DL. So it will only consider this condition type, which is zero ODL. I don't want zero ODL condition type. My condition type is OWHN. So that means this procedure should be assigned to my warehouse. So this procedure, if you see here, so 0 ODN here, 0 WHN. So what I will do is I'll say for my warehouse, don't determine based on ship to party and all this complex determination. Just keep it simple and determine it based on the document category. Okay. So now when we create, we should expect a wave to be created for our deliveries. Okay. So it's still not done. We still need to assign, still need to understand about how the waves would be assigned. Okay. Which wave will get assigned. But are you all clear till now? Any questions so far?
No, it's clear for me. Yeah.
No question, then I will proceed. So, okay, so I was about to explain you about this um, important thing here. So basically, you understood this, but now before we tested, we need to understand about template determination. Which one gets determined? Okay, so now we said, okay, so we know that the template determination of wave template is through condition record. We maintained it. Okay, now I'll give you some examples, and you need to tell me which option gets assigned to it. Okay, so if my delivery, so I have a delivery PGI time. Okay, and I would have a wave template. We just have wave template, so I'll say which wave option gets assigned. So for example, I have a delivery on Monday, which is 28th. So I get a delivery now. Okay, 20th Feb, and my goods issue time is at 14:30. So when I say goods issue time in my delivery, that means the truck is going to come at that time. So now remember the principle, we don't have to be too early, we don't have to be too late. When we should start picking and when we should start picking and which wave option should be assigned to a delivery.
The third one, third option, right?
Okay. Anyone else?
Third, I think the second.
Any other answers?
Sorry, second. I think second.
Second. Anyone else would like to try, or all agree for second?
Second, not third. I'm thinking second, not third.
Sorry, Arjun, we didn't get you.
Third, I think third.
Okay. So
Second
now,
option.
second option. So most of you are with second, yeah?
Yeah.
I would say first. Your truck is going to come at 2:30. Your wave completes at 3. You are late. You should never be late.
Okay.
Yeah. So wave option 1 will be assigned because you it's okay, you're getting the meter at 12, it will stay back by 2:30, but if you're late, you will be charged 30. In this case, you'll be late by 30 minutes, and you'll be charged penalty, right? By the wave by the service provider, 30 minutes waiting charges. So you always have to make sure that you are there just at the right time, just before the goods issue time. Okay, so keep this in mind. You should never be late, and you should never be early. Okay, so now let's say I'll ask you another way. Okay, another question. So if my truck is going to come at which one? Option. So if it's going to come, truck is going to come at 6.
So option 2.
Option 2 or 3?
A3 means exact time, right? So we need some buffer.
No, that's fine. If the wave is ready, the truck immediately they can start loading.
Okay.
3 is the right, yeah. So you're not late. You're at the right time. That is fine. Okay. Now let's say the truck comes at mm, delivery is created as the goods issued date. Okay, the truck is going to come at 10 o'clock. Which wave will be assigned?
I think one wave 1.
The truck is going to come at 10 o'clock on 20th.
Yeah, then it goes to next day, right?
Why next day? I cannot pick it the same day. So on 20th
Because
at 10 o'clock,
last
the
wave
truck
is
is coming. Sorry?
the last wave is completing at 9 o'clock,
And 10
and
o'clock, the truck is coming.
yeah, so then at 10 o'clock we do not have any wave, right?
See, you're not getting the point here. If the truck is coming at 10, why you would like to pick it the next day? Truck is coming at 10, it's going to stand there for the whole night.
Okay.
So I would pick it and get the material by 9 here. Trucks come at 10, truck is going to come at 10. I'm going to 1 hour to stay in the staging area. So
Yeah, I think small confusion with link to your PGI. The one you mentioned in the date is a PGI completion, right? That PGI delivery PGI when the PGI is completing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here, when you says wave completion in the wave, so wave means you pick back everything is confirmed,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's what wave completion means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wave
When
staging completion, product is ready to goods issue.
okay, 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 okay. So when just wave completion means everything is completed, just ready for the shipment. That's what you mean to say, right?
Ready for goods issue.
Ready for sorry, yeah, ready for goods. Okay, okay, yeah, I got it.
Okay. Does anyone have doubt with this? Which option gets determined?
Run, yeah.
Yeah.
If the wave if the wave completion time is 21 hours and the PGI timing here is 22 hours,
Mm-hmm.
there's a little confusion there.
Mm-hmm.
The 22 hours mentioned here, does it mean the arrival time of the truck?
Is that this? This is the arrival time. Who gives you the arrival time? The delivery gives you, right? So this is the arrival time. This is the PGI time. This is the time given by sales team that I need material at this time.
I need the product. Okay, 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 okay,
So
okay.
this is a
Got
requirement
it
given
now.
by sales. They tell you I want the material at this
That
time.
they need to,
So it is their
yeah, this time.
responsibility to
So,
get a truck. Okay, it is their responsibility to get a truck. As a warehouse supervisor, I'm interested that I just make sure the material is there.
okay, so the wave completion can happen before that time.
Yes, it can happen, but not. The system is going to assign in first option itself. You might have got it. It's 2:30. So system, it's very close to 3. We are late. We are getting late here. So system will assign
Hmm,
something
hmm.
prior, but not make you late. Okay.
Okay,
Think from a supervisor's perspective. Okay. Late means the sales or the shipping or the transportation team will charge penalty. Okay. Keep in mind. Tell me now, which time
hmm.
attribute? Truck is coming on 1st March at 7. So every day there are 4 picking cycles. On 1st of March, my
Hmm.
picking starts at 9. My material is there by 12. I'll be late. So when I'll pick this material, which is required on 1st of March 7, just don't think about template. Just think as a supervisor. You have to get material ready for your warehouse. So morning 7 o'clock, uh, morning 7 o'clock the truck is going to come on first.
Four, four.
Or yeah, you'll get the material ready and keep it in the staging area
Yeah,
overnight, and they'll come
yeah.
and pick it up at 7. So you're not late and you're not too early. If you pick it at 12 or 13, you're early, too
Still
early.
late.
That's not the right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
that's not
yeah.
optimized. So we are picking at 9. Okay. So I hope you all are clear.
But
This is
one question,
determined when
Rohan.
you need the material. Yeah, tell me.
Okay. For example,
Tell me. You're asking question.
Yeah, the dates which in the template you are mentioning, the
Hmm.
date we are compare with the delivery date, or it's compare with the system date, the date and times.
Delivery date, system date. There is always a date given, planned shipping date given by the delivery. That is the date which is referred, not the date time when the delivery is created. So delivery can be created. This delivery required on 20th, may be created on 21st of Feb.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this date and time will be considered, and accordingly, a wave will be assigned on 20th, not on 21st.
Okay.
So this delivery was required on 1st of March, but the delivery may be created on 22nd, 23rd Feb. A wave of 28th Feb evening 7 would be assigned to that delivery on 22nd of Feb itself.
Okay. So it means it's not a delivery date, right? That's what I meant to say, right?
Deliv- See, delivery date. What is a delivery date? There are delivery are different types of date. Delivery creation date, a delivery goods issue
That's it.
date. Which date you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm talking about, see, in the delivery we have a creation date and goods issue date.
Yeah,
So it is
yeah,
not on the creation date, right?
definitely not. That's what I'm giving an example.
Okay. Okay.
Delivery is created 1 week in advance. If I
Yeah.
create
Yeah.
material on 22nd, pick it, I'm not, working effectively, efficiently. Okay. So it always, when you need the material, just try to correlate technical with functional. We need the material, and based on that, we are going to put it in the staging area. Okay. So if you correlate this with your functional understanding, this is
Okay.
very easy topic. Okay.
Yeah.
But you need to understand this. Don't complicate it. Just whenever you're reading through books or you're implementing this, just think of live examples.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's try to test this. Okay. Save it over here. I will now create deliveries. So what I'm going to do is create delivery one quantity. I'm going to put the same date and time that I have told you in the 230. Yeah. In the Excel. So I'll say 1430. Save it. This delivery got created. Let us see, this is our first delivery with Wave. Let us go and check if Wave is getting assigned and what attribute it is getting assigned to. We'll go into the monitor. Okay. I forgot to maintain the store location. Okay, here we go now. Let's go to the monitor, refresh. We have a delivery. We'll select it and we'll click on Wave. Okay, this is our Wave. And let's open this. So we set option 1. Let us see, option 1 is assigned. Yes, it will get ready by 12, even though the material is needed at 2:30. Okay, so this is my first wave. Let's create another one based on the second time that we discussed. Okay, so this is, oh sorry, let me spend some time here. Our wave, what are the important fields in a wave? So we saw this wave, yeah, it has the option, the wave type, wave category, whatever we created, what number of delivery items, and all the time attributes have been copied. The status is initial. If I click on release, it will get released manually, but you can see the status is supposed to get released at 9, so automatically it will get released on 20th at 9. Okay, so when you test it, please put it on a certain time, create a wave at certain time, and just wait till that time. When you see system is automatically going to create an order, automatically create a task for the delivery. Okay, at that particular time it will automatically get released, so the status becomes R, released. Okay, release method is A, which is automatic. So you can also lock, unlock wave, you can merge and merge delivery items. So you can do manually, you can do whatever you want with the wave, but ideally we will only do it in case of exception scenarios. Ideally deliveries are created, they are sent to wave, they are released, and orders are created. Okay, then let's come to another one, next one, where we'll say we need earn 1600 hours. Yeah, oh sorry, 1800 hours at 6 o'clock on, oh not to be here, I need to do it here, right? I need the material on 20th of Feb on 1800 hours. Yeah, and let's save it. Oops, my bad, I should reduce the quantity. Never mind. So we come here, monitor, next delivery created. We'll look at the wave. Another wave has been created. Look at the attributes. We said it is going to get ready at exact time, so you can see system has taken a cutoff at 3. It will start work at 3 and will be ready by 6. Okay, you can see this attribute, time attribute 3 has been assigned. Okay, so this you'll only understand better, or you'll only get more confidence when you actually test it with different time attributes. Okay, so for now let me close some transaction, come back to the further steps. Let's create our last 2 deliveries. Okay, think there's a quantity, entire quantity has been created, so let me delete it for now. Let's see. Okay, it's deleted now. Now let me create another one. The quantity is open, and we said truck is going to come, just taking less quantity, yeah, so that I can create multiple deliveries on 20th at 2200 hours. The last one, I'll create another one also quickly, and I would say for this one it is 1st of March. at 7 a.m. Okay, come on, what's it saying? Is it a okay? Let's save it. Refresher. Need to let me put some date in. Remember, so there are two deliveries which are created, and the wave is 2, and we expect both of them should be assigned to the same wave. Yeah, even 13 should be assigned to wave template 4. See, both of them are assigned to the same wave. Let me close some unwanted transactions. So see here, two deliveries are assigned to the same wave. Okay, so this is because we said both of them should be assigned to wave option 4. Okay, here it is. Now at this particular time, task will get released. Wave will get released, task will be get created, orders will be created for this delivery. Work of wave ends there. That's it. It is just going to at that particular time, it's going to internally generate a event, and that's going to create a task. Job done. So what happens? So how we can manually work with waves. Okay, so I'm going to release one wave manually to see how the task is created. So basically, manually, now I'm going to do a manual changes in a manual processing of waves. See, manually processing is required if at all. What happens is, I'm a supervisor. Hey, we don't have enough load today for picking, or there's a first shift. Nobody's there for the first pick cycle, or the truck called me and said they are not going to come. So there can be several day-to-day issues where you know we plan something, but we there are exceptions and things can go wrong. So let's say one of the possible thing is somebody comes and tells me, hey, we just you know remove this item, okay, and put it into this wave. Okay, so I'll say I'll just group them together, okay, and I'll merge them into one. Okay, let's say these two items of these two waves are immediately required, so what I will do is I'll merge them into one. Okay, and then I will immediately release. So now the other wave is gone, and the items of this wave is assigned here. Okay, and then I can change the time attribute if I want. Anything I can change. Yeah, based on my requirement whenever I want to pick it. So I manually did an assignment. I'm changing the time attribute based on my requirement. I can do whatever I want. Okay, I will manually. You can work with this waves the way you want. So I've just grouped the deliveries. Just forget about the automatic assignments and time attribute, whatever we have discussed. As of now, we are discussing how the supervisor can manually go and play with this. Let's say this wave I see some items. Oh, this is not the right items. Or this is not I see some issue here, let me make some calls. Till then I will lock it. So lock means at on 20th at 3 o'clock it's not going to release automatic. It's not going to get released because it's locked. So you can see here the status is edge, which is locked. Nothing will happen, okay, till I go and unlock it. Okay, then somebody calls and tells me, hey, this wave is very urgent, I want the material immediately, can you please release it. So what I'll do is I'll manually release it. So all your waves that have been created, you can manually go and release it rather than waiting for that time. So what we're doing here, what happens in release, we'll see. We are just manually releasing to simulate how release would happen at this time. So after the wave gets released automatically or manually, if it's manual, you see the indicator here. If it's automatic, this remains A, the status becomes R. So wave is released now. So this is the final action of a wave. This is what we expect from a wave, to get released and generate orders for us. So has it generated orders? There are 3 deliveries and system has created 3 orders. Okay, and these 3 orders were created by wave. Now this was one level of optimization in terms of time, and you can see the wave is assigned here. Yeah, but ideally, this order means 3 separate pickers can work on this. These are 3 separate, orders. So that means a person will go pick one piece, come back, put it into GI zone. Then the same person may pick the next order, and then again the next again he's going to come back and pick the third order. Or it would be like one person works on here, the other two are working on the other 2 orders. So this is not an optimized process, because you need the same part from the same bin or from the same area. Ideally, we want one person to do that. So ideally, we would want our next level of optimization, which comes through warehouse order creation rule. You can see warehouse order creation rule here. This creation rule, the aim of this creation rule is to make sure the work package, the warehouse order is created correctly, or based on the rules that you will give. So this, instead of 3 order, I would expect 1 order to be created with 3 quantities or all the tasks. So these are tasks, 3 tasks for 3 deliveries. I would have expected 1 order to be created with 3 tasks, so that the 1 order gets assigned to the resource. The resource goes for picking. He picks all the 3 deliveries together and then take them to GI zone. See, if there are 3 orders, there is 3 travel, right? Pick the first item, go to GI. Then second order, pick the second item, go to GI. Third order, pick the third item, go to GI. I mean, same material. You are doing 3 cycles, 3 times to and fro. Why not create 1 order? Pick items for all the 3 deliveries and then go to GI zone. It is just one travel from the source to the destination. Yeah. So we'll see that in warehouse order creation rule, how we can create an order so that we can group the number of tasks. See, a person can only handle, let's say 10 or 12 tasks. For example, in this case, I can only pick 12 products because I have a limitation in forklift. I can only put 12 pounds. So my so if there are 15 if quantity 15 is required, then system should create only for 12. Remaining 3 system should assign to the next, for my next trip, or to a next resource. Okay. So you have to consider grouping, but you also have to consider your limits, that you should not exceed your limits. Okay. So that optimization we'll see, in our next session, maybe tomorrow or day after. But for now, what we have done is we have released the wave and created the orders. The role of the topic functionality we are talking now is completed. Wave ends here. That's it. Role of wave ends at the time of creation. It's not worried. We will not be worried about the task grouping, that will take care in the creation rule. So are we all clear how wave template and waves work? Any questions on waves?
No, it's clear for me.
Okay, so this wave, if no questions, then just one final thing. If you need the material on let's say Monday morning 7 a.m., you will pick it on Friday. Okay, you can also test that by yourself. Okay, so that was wave management. Let's see what is the next topic for us today. Okay, exception handling, batch management, and production integration. Okay, so let me explain you about exception codes and batch management. But shall we take a quick 5 minutes break?
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
let's come back in 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, okay. Shall we start?
Rohan, just a small doubt. Can you
Mhm.
explain wave cutoff time? Like, because here, like, we are creating the delivery based on the PGI time, right?
Mhm.
And they are getting assigned to the waves based on wave complete time.
Mhm.
So, what is the importance of this wave cutoff time?
Okay. So, for example, let's say I create today is 26th. Okay, I'm
Mm-hmm,
creating 26th Feb 1 p.m. Yeah, 13. So I'm creating a delivery now
mm-hmm,
with a goods issue date with a required day of with a requirement of. So the next wave is what, let's say now the current time is 11 6. Okay, and then I
mm-hmm.
am creating a delivery with a goods issue date of goods issue of today 14:30. Today 14:30, that means
Okay.
this wave should be assigned wave 1.
Mm,
Correct, ideally wave 1 should be assigned, so that's what we said, 14:30 means wave 1. But now the current time is 11:56. So now this time is gone. That means
mm,
we are here. So I cannot assign
okay.
wave 1 to it, because it's already over.
Mm-hmm,
The product is in the
mm-hmm,
staging area. I cannot assign wave 2 also to it because
mm-hmm.
the cutoff time is gone. Now we'll be late, and I'll tell my sales guy I can only supply you by evening 6. So we'll be late here.
Okay.
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 So
So
cut.
how
Mm-hmm.
no how wave option three is selected instead of two? Because okay, okay. So cutoff time is
It's gone.
has
It
passed.
will not
Okay,
take.
okay, okay.
It's like your,
Mm-hmm.
as I tell, consider your boarding time, last boarding call. Passengers are not allowed. Deliveries are not allowed,
Mm-hmm.
even though they are eligible. Okay.
Okay.
So
So this current time is like delivery creation time only, right?
that's correct.
11:50 delivery creation.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So let's move on to batches. See, batch managed part. See, um, so there are some materials which are batch managed in the companies. Okay. So these batch managed parts, um, we get them, we store them into the warehouse, and we see the batch information. Why we are talking about batch management? Because let me show you in another warehouse here. Mm, WM stars. Mhm. 20 is the batch managed material. Okay, so this material, when we receive them, store them, we store batches also. Okay, so batches are very important because it contains the classification data. So batch management is not a, I would not say it's a warehousing topic, it's a logistics topic. It's across module, MMPPST. Mostly, so in from EWM side, what we say, it is basically managed by the ERP team. ERP on the ERP side, not on the warehousing side, because whatever batches, so vendor send us material batch form, right? I think most of you might have already worked on batches, but just to for those who are new to batches, these are the material like which are made in batches. For example, uh, we have pharmaceutical products. For example, take very basic example of food. Your butter, very classic example. You make butter, and you will find a batch code for butter. When you buy medicine, you might see the the pharmacist. They will write what is the batch number that they have given. So batches play important role. Two things. One very important for batches is when you are making some product, okay, and their characteristics are not fixed. For example, the content, let's say the sugar content, or say salt content in a butter, maybe zero point zero 0.01 gram to 0.015 gram. Okay, so when you make them, it may vary, and that is acceptable, right? Same way, the chemical composition of medicines, they can vary. So we make batches, right? So wherever these components they vary, they are not exactly we use batches. Then batches also have shelf life. Okay, so you can also work with shelf life without batches, but batches is very important to track that particular lot. So you might have heard, uh, a certain lot, a certain batch has been called back, or certain batches, faulty for some. Uh, Probably in the Western countries, you have something like rollbacks. The moment I go to Target or I go to Walmart, there is a notice. We are rolling back so and so, batch of bread. Because we see there was some complaints registered by somebody. Okay, so similarly, there will be rollbacks for medicines, and there will be rollbacks for different kind of batches. So we, from a warehouse perspective, we basically get the batch information when we receive from a supplier. We store them in the inventory, and EWM stores them, and you can see them in the stock, like which batch we are storing. Okay, so we receive, like we normally receive, we can when you go to VL31 and we create the batches. Their system asks us to create the batch, and then we get them into the inventory. The the important point here is, so materials are batch managed, they are configured in ERP, and when we create a delivery, our system asks us to create batches. The important point to note here is, for the batch managed parts, there is something called as batch determination, which is in outbound. So what is batch determination? So batch determination is basically,
Hello, Rohan. I guess screen
Mhm.
is stuck.
No, I'm talking. I'm not
Okay, okay.
not moving my cursor. I'm just explaining before I start execution. So so batches, so batches in the why we are discussing batches in outbound. So EWM has a very important role here. Okay, see, we have learnt about outbound strategies, FIFO, LIFO, first in, first out, and all those things, right? So, but there is something called as batch determination strategy. So, see here, for example, take this example. This batch, these are different batches. Okay, we have created very simple batches. Okay, so in the batches we have origins, like this is Germany, this is US, this is made in Britain. So let's say, that is one of the criteria for your batch. Different country of origin. Let's say this material has different country of origin. Now, when we create an outbound, or when we create an outbound, or customer creates a, let's say, sale order, they will tell us that they need a material with country of origin DE. Okay, so sometimes what happens, the request, so we pick the older stock, but in case of batches, the customer may request a particular type of a batch. So a customer may request, like so and so chemical composition I need from so and so to. They are very precise. They want from 0.01 to 0.03 only. So only those batches should be picked. Okay, so basically we what we do is, in the batch we have something called as characteristic. Okay, so we batches have characteristics. So based on these characteristics, system would check and pick a particular batch. So even though it's not the oldest batch, system will still pick it. If the customer says I want only German batches made out country of origin German, or the expiry date for the batch which has expiry date for almost a year. Okay, the batch which has minimum life for 1 year, that they may ask. So of all the product, whichever batch has the oldest shelf life, that will be picked. So rather than checking at the LIFO FIFO, system is going to check at the batch strategy and see what the customer has requested and will pick that part. That may see when a customer has asked for a particular batch, if the same batch is in several bins, then we'll use FIFO, LIFO, stringent FIFO, and all those kind of strategy. But what if we we have a older stock, but it doesn't match client requirement? We will not pick that. See, we will pick particularly based on client requirement. That is the first criteria before looking for FIFO, LIFO. So if the client has mentioned something, that takes precedence over our warehouse, strategies. If the client has asked for DE, German make, we'll always pick DE. Okay, and irrespective, the stock of US origin may be not older. The stock of US make maybe maybe older, I would say. With a based on FIFO, a US make would be the oldest, and we are picking based on FIFO, but we'll not pick that. We will consider only German because that request has come from ERP, that request has come from customer, that request has come from a sales team. Okay, so this thing we would like to test. So, but let us also create an inbound and see how batches are created and we get them in stock. So batch managed parts, you'll find them in several companies. Okay, so now let's say this is a batch management tool. I'm using this warehouse for testing this process. You can just to save time, I'll have to extend this product to our warehouse, and then you know it will take time. So let me use this where this product is already extended. So let me create a purchase order real quick. Let's create an inbound and an outbound for this batch part. Yeah, let's say 10 pieces. This is from my previous batch where they already extended it. Okay, and that does not exist. Let me see if I can do this one. Okay, fine. So let me pick this confirmation. It's up here. Now we'll see, how batches are created in inbound delivery. So when I get this material from a supplier, they will send me a EDI message and tell me what all batches are there. If not, I'll get a call I'll call them. I'll say, okay, let me create a batch for this material. I'll tell them, okay, tell me what is the country of origin. They'll say it is US. Okay, I will update that here, and then I will say if there is a vendor specific batch number, so the batch can have, we can generate a batch in our number range, or we can use a field where we can. So basically, if the vendor, if we create a batch, we need to know what is the batch number in the vendor system. So when I say a batch number is 1101, it is created in my system, but vendor might have had the batch number as BAT1, something different than what it is. So our SAP batch is this batch 12123. Okay, this is our batch, and but it can also have a SAP batch. Okay, so there's a different way. Let me find that for vendor batch. So vendor batch, oops, not here. Okay, we'll see at a different place. Let me go here and see if it gives me an option to enter a vendor batch. Yeah, here we have supplier batch. Yeah, so I can say I can do it this way also. Already 10, and I would say BAT CH 122 something. This is vendors batch, and I will say create SAP batch for this. Create for reason D. So this is the characteristics. System will ask you the characteristics as well. Yeah. So this in SAP has generated this batch 156 here. Okay, so you can see the batch information. If you can go down here, you can see the batch 156 has been generated, and this is the supplier batch for that. Okay, so I will save this. Okay, so this delivery comes, and then we can obviously do the good receipt and put away into the warehouse. Yeah, so delivery comes to EWM. You can see the batch number here. Okay, supplier batch also the good receipt, and then let us put it away. Yeah. So at the task level also you can see batches. Okay. So batch every information comes from ERP. We are just supporting batch in EWM. So if we say fresh here, you can see we have just received a batch 156. Oh, did we enter DE? Okay, I thought we entered Germany. Huh? Sorry, US. Anyways, so we have so many batches now. So same batch D, system has two. Same country for the system has two batches. Okay. So if at all customers ask for D, oldest of from these two will be picked. But if system customer is asked us US, we'll only pick for US. Okay. So let us create a delivery, a sale order, and see and give a requirement in the sale order that we need a batch of only country of origin, certain country of origin, and we'll see how EWM goes and takes that precedence over the LIFO FIFO and only picks that particular batch. Okay, so don't want to create sale order from scratch. Let me see. There's already been a sale order for this material. You can reuse that. Yeah. Open advanced search. Look for EWM S4-20. Okay, let me look what was the sale order that was created at that time. 4 to 5. Okay, now let's go and use the sale order and create a delivery /NVLO1N. Mhm. No delivery item. Okay, 425 slash MVA 01. Create with reference. I'll copy 425 and create my own sale order. Mm, Copy. Okay. Now here in the sale order, okay, I'm going to say, let's say customer tells me, okay. So here I'm going to say batch item batch determination. See here, I'll say batch selection criteria. I would say I need a batch with country of origin US. Okay, so system is telling me to just use this batch. So system is determining the batch here itself. I would say no. I don't want to copy the batch. It is saying I just want to copy the criteria. Okay, so let me go in again over there. Search criteria. Okay, I'll say country of origin is US. Yeah, I need a country of origin with US. Now, given my criteria, system is proposing me a batch that this batch we have. Do you want to copy that? I'll say no. Warehouse will determine the appropriate batch. Yeah, I don't want to give a batch in the sale order, and I will save this order. 440. Let us going to change mode slash NVA02. I could see that this delivery block is set. I'll just uncheck this slash NVL01N 440 now. Let's see. Okay, 5 pieces. Now again, if you see here, select it and go to batch information. System is determining a batch. Okay, so I don't want system to determine a batch. So through batch management configuration, you can control that. It doesn't determine a batch here. I'm just trying to manually remove it. Okay, else I don't want to give a batch here. Oh, come on. I want EWM to determine a batch. Okay, because see, there can be multiple batches. Why we need EWM is more. EWM is better in terms of determining a product and a batch, determining a product, suitable product and suitable. So there are multiple batches. So EWM is as better stock information, better information about where the stock is, which stock is available for picking and which stock is not available. So what we say to sales team, just give us the criteria, we'll take care from our side. Okay, so let me go here. I'm just trying to tell the system that I don't want batch to come from this delivery. Batch, we just need to send the batch determination criteria. Mm, you know what, let me check. I might have made a mistake here. VA03N or VA03 in the sale order. I hope there is no batch in the sale order. Hmm. That's the problem, I think. A batch got copied from the sale order. We don't need a batch in the sale order. Come on. Selection criteria. Country of origin is US. Go back. I will go back. Do you want to copy the selection batch? I'll say no. Do you want to copy the selection criteria? I will say yes. Okay, so no batch is there, but the selection criteria has been copied. Now let's create a delivery. Okay, now system, there's no batch here. Okay, and go in here and you'll say batch determination. You can see selection system is again trying to determine a batch. Selection criteria has come from the delivery, that should be country of origin is US, and I would say save it. Okay, I think the batch would not have come. Okay, batch is blank. So outbound deliveries can come to EWM without a batch. That's the whole criteria, but with a batch criteria. They'll come without batch, but they'll come with a batch determination criteria. So here you can see it's 5 piece, but there is no batch. Okay, but you will see here the criteria to determine is there. Okay, it has come from ERP. Okay, this is how it will be configured. Now let us go and create a task. Now let's see. Here system is, if I create a task, see system saying that you can only pick task 133 and 134 do not match the criteria, and it has picked batch 135. So what is 133 and 134? We'll check in the monitor. 133 and 134, they are of the same GR date, but they are not US. So system is saying, they, as per FIFO, they are determined, but we cannot pick them. We are going as per US. That is 135. So you can see here batch 135 is determined now in EWM. So the batch did not come from ERP. We picked it from EWM. Okay. You will see the batches in the task as well. Yeah. And you can confirm it. And you can choose this as well.
Rohit, one question. This batch determination, which is deriving at EWM level, do we also need to manage any type of a master record or a configuration in EWM for the batch management?
It's a very good question. The answer is no. Everything is in ERP. So what configuration we need? We need this criteria. See, you can see this class.
Yeah,
This is called
batch.
as batch search criteria. It has done in ERP and it
Yeah.
gets passed to EWM. Whenever it comes to batch management, ERP is the master system. EWM is just a supporting system.
Okay, but
Okay, so no configuration as such. I mean, for outbound, especially what we saw.
But in the previous answer, you mentioned that okay, the batch search it is satisfied the goods issue date, but it's not satisfied the origin. So it means it's
Mhm.
also doing some sort of a search criteria in EWM, right?
See,
That
that's what I'm showing you. This search criteria came from ERP. We are following this search criteria. This
okay,
is the
okay,
search criteria. It's at the delivery level.
okay. Just copy the from the ERP to EWM the search
EWM.
criteria.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So it is following the search criteria. There is no other, config it is following. It's just delivery as a requirement document is saying this is my requirement. You pick as per this.
But can we change the criteria here just to understand? Could be
No,
a stupid question. No, we cannot.
no.
Okay.
See, just think from execution perspective. In EWM can also be decentralized. There can
Yeah.
be many action system. They can come and tell us pick this. As EWM is an execution system, it has to follow what comes from ERP. It just
Okay.
has to
Okay.
pick and deliver the material which has been requested.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Thanks.
So, batch managed materials. If there is no batch in ERP, in BL31N, you can create a batch here in EWM. If you want, you can create a batch in inbound delivery. But again, no configuration as such. In EWM, EWM is just a execution system for batch managed parts. So the batch which we created in inbound delivery VL31N, if it's not there, you can come and create a batch here. But there's no configuration required. It will internally create a batch. So in decentralized system, we used to sift the batches to EWM. But since it is S4HANA, the batch master, all your batches can be seen in MSC2N, the same thing which we in transaction MSC2N, the same thing which we can see by clicking here. So this master data is same ERP master data batch master is used here. But when you go to decentralize, this batch has to be sifted to EWM. But here, so that the characteristics and all the information should also go to EWM. But in the embedded, we don't need the batch master to be sifted. It's there in the same system.
Okay. So here also for decentralized, they use a CIF also, CAF for moving the batches.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay. So now, what are we doing now? Hmm. So the next topic is exception handling, and we also have another topic of advanced production integration. That's where we are going to integrate with the production processes. So production, I mean, maybe take it next week. Because let me think over it. If I can complete that in 1.5 hours tomorrow, or else I'll take it next week. Okay. But now, next 10-15 minutes, let us talk about exception handling, exception codes. So, standard EWM comes with a set of exception codes. So, what are the exception codes? And in the slide, you'll find the commonly, I have in my slides, updated what are the commonly used exception codes. So, exception codes are basically to used in RF to over, as the name is, exception, to overcome any exception scenario. See, we have spoken about EWM, RF. EWM, most of the users are going to use RF scanners to execute the processes, right? And very less desktop use, right? So, what will happen, if you come across some exception cases like the you're not able to pick a part, or for example, you're not able to pick a particular part because it's um, damaged, or you went to put a material in a bin and the bin is damaged, you have to change the bin. So while executing an RF, if at all you come across these exception scenarios, we need to give some provision to the warehouse workers, the warehouse users who are using scanners, so that they can handle that exception there itself, rather than they coming to the office. If we don't give them provision, hey, pin is damaged, the picker will come with the scanner to the office. Hey, pin is damaged. Tell me what to do. I cannot put it there. Then he will say, okay, come out of the order. We'll cancel the order in the background, create a new order to another bin, another stock, and then now take this, go and start picking. So so there are several exceptions that can happen. So you cannot, keep a dedicated team to support the exception. Yeah. So what we do is the picker itself, we train them to handle the exceptions. Like they can execute some actions on the scanner itself, like changing the destination bin, or changing the or canceling the pick if they don't want, or changing the HU if they cannot pick the HU which has been told by system, or changing the batch if they're not able to pick a particular batch. So they can, handle some exceptions on the scanner. So what are the okay? So there can be, some exceptions also. Before we discuss on how, some exceptions also where they will rely on the um, um, they will rely on, uh, for example, if at all they are supposed to do a good receipt. Okay, as per the system there are 10 pieces, but when they do the good receipt they find 9 pieces. Or somebody did a good receipt of 10 piece, when I'm doing the put away I see a quantity of 9 there. So there are processes which will rely on, user entering the right quantities. So during put away, we have seen user has to scan the quantities, but what if the quantity is wrong? They can also change the quantity, and that one piece will go as a difference. Okay, we'll see how to handle those difference in physical inventory process. But the point to note here is there are exceptions, either quantity exceptions, there are bin level changes required, and these exception codes basically helps the pickers to overcome the exceptions by themselves. Okay, so let us go to our warehouse and see if we have some orders, and we will use some of the exception codes to change some something about an order. Okay, so basically, see what is happening here. You're using exception codes. There is something called the exception code, and you're changing the bin quantity, or you're changing the destination bin, that has bin is damaged. You're changing the batch, changing the handling unit, changing so many things. So as a supervisor, I would not encourage these things, because you should always follow the system. If there are too many exceptions, that is a problem. This requires a fix somewhere. If there are too many change bins, that means there are too many bins are damaged. Are they really damaged? Or users, they are trying to save their efforts. They are not going, to the higher level. Rather, they are misleading the system, entering the code and putting in the lower level bin. They are saving their time. But as an efficient way, they should put it in a upper level bin as per the strategies or optimization techniques that we have implemented. They should go into the higher level bins, but they are, they are taking advantage, and they are using exception codes and overriding it. So as a supervisor, I would like to closely monitor as a KPI how many exception codes are used. The more exception code, that means there is more manual workaround. That means your design is not correct, or the users are not following instruction. They need a process, they need a training, or something is going wrong somewhere if there are too many exceptions. So the supervisors keep a close eyes on which are the orders. They can track in the monitor which are the orders where the exceptions are used. End of the day, they'll keep prepare a report and say, and they may call you. You have they'll call a user. Hey, you have used an exception code there that you said the bin is damaged. Come, let's go and see bin is really damaged. So they will try to cross check to make sure the exception codes are rightly used, or over the period of time it becomes you know a way people will overwrite the system that has been built for them. Yeah, it will overall impact the warehousing efficiency and optimized processes that we have set for them. So let's take some order. Let's see if we have some open tasks and confirm them, and we'll see how we can track these exception codes, how we can track that somebody has used exception codes. Just checking on the open tasks. Okay, so now I have a stock removal task, which is this. And I have a put away task also. Okay, so here, for example, let me take this. So exceptions can give you this exception information. Just want to confirm this on RF with an exception code. Okay, so let's say this is the order, and user is supposed to go into this bin. Okay, let's see now how user is going to enter exception code and change the bin. So standard SAP comes with pre-built exception code which are good enough, but you can also create your own exception codes if you come across a scenario where you want to do something different, okay, than the proposed exception codes. So different order. Inbound, put away by warehouse order, you put the order. System is telling me to take from GR zone. I am okay with the quantity. Let's say I want to change the bin. So now I'm told to put it away here. I see the bin is damaged, so I cannot put it there. I will come here. There is some type here list. Okay, you get list of all the exception code. So here the list of possible list of exception code is changing of bin. Okay, now if you go back, let me tell you. You can every exception also has a code. If I want list will give you list of exceptions can be used, and you can also type in the exception code you want. Okay, so list is a type of exception code will give you all the list. CHBD is the code. If you enter here, you will get a on my slide you'll get list of all the exception codes that are used and their purpose. But here, let's say I'm using CHBD. I know that over the period of time, they come to know which one is the right code and they will use it. So I've told system to propose. System is not able to propose. Let me propose myself. Yeah, let me propose. Put it into this bin. 1606. So it is not permitted there. Let me take this one. Yeah, something with A. Let me take this. So now I have entered my exception code and I have confirmed my order. Now, how will a warehouse supervisor know that the exception code is used? So we take this order, and if you see this order, oh, I'm sorry, it's already confirmed. You will see system records the exception code here. Oops, it's a different one. Okay, that order is gone. Let me enter it here. What is that order number? 9, yeah. So at the task level, system records that you have used an exception code. Yeah. Or the user can go into tools. It can go into application log. No. Go to alerts and you can go to exception and see, what all exceptions are configured for that particular day. Okay. What are the exceptions have been occurred on a particular day. So this way, he can track and he can monitor and just go through the list of exception codes. Okay. And you can see here, let us also do one of the exception for outbound. Let's say I'm supposed to pick this material, but let's say I'm not able to pick, but I'll get stuck under the scanner, right? Let me go to outbound, picking, pick by warehouse order. Okay. Supposed to pick this metal from here, I cannot pick. Let me see what exception codes are there. I'll say I want to deny picking because I cannot pick this. Okay, now system is giving me next order. So the previous order, 48, you will see system would have cancelled, saying that you cannot pick. BID is the exception code. Okay, so this way, we can use exception codes to. So cancel means, now it will go to the next user, and they can, um, the next user would then, sorry, next wave, and it will then, it will go to the next wave, and it will get a new order for another bin. Okay. So with this exception code, there is one more important thing that we can do is we can. So here you can see system has created task for another bin. So the previous bin was cancelled and system created task from a next bin because I said I cannot pick from here. So system pick giving me to pick from another bin. Okay. So the previous bin was this. I use exception code and now system is telling me okay pick from another bin. So yeah. So exception codes they have follow on actions. If we want we can block the bin because it's damaged. Here in the exception it is telling you automatically to pick from another bin. So you can also initiate physical inventory as a background action of your exception code, and generally we block the bin so that when you say pick denial, I want to block this bin so that next time nobody else is going to that bin. Okay, I can also automate some follow-up action for these exception codes. So we'll come again to exception codes as and when required. But for now, I think we'll stop for today. Hmm. So any questions from anyone? I think your queries I have replied. I hope Arjun and Bo, you might have got a chance to check. Please let me know if you haven't checked it and if you're still facing issue. So for this 561 issue, just maintain this default value configuration. And Anubhav, I can see the task did get created correctly. And the only thing was your system was expecting a handling unit. So I've removed the handling unit requirement in 8060. So you can test your process now by confirming the order. Your order should get confirmed.
Yeah, Rohan, the order was confirmed. And just to confirm, like I was trying to give this destination HU also the same 80199. So
Mm.
at that time it was not taking this HU also, like in the
I
destination.
think, yeah, it may be some config issue with your process type. It's not copying over the same. to the destination.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
just to isolate that to your quality process, I've just activated. So we can
Mm-hmm.
check that, maybe in the picking process, you can see how we can pass the HU from one bin to another. Um, and if it is giving you any error there, then you can compare the process type of picking with that process type that you've used.
Okay. And one more thing, like in that order, uh, in that inbound delivery, the item is still showing like Q3 as the stock type.
Yeah.
It is not.
So inbound delivery will not get updated. Inbound delivery will remain as Q3. Your stock is B5.
Okay.
Don't look at delivery because it doesn't get updated after the put away is done or after the goods it is done. It's fixed.
Okay. Okay.
You have to check in warehouse
But
monitor for the latest
mm,
stock information.
mm, okay.
So let me know if it's resolved or if you have any further queries. We'll discuss. Yeah. So any other questions from anyone before we end for today?
Yeah, Rohan, please kindly share the manual for Unit 5.
It's already shared.
Okay, seen it.
It's already there. If no further questions, then we'll end the session for today. We'll catch up again tomorrow and let's see if we can start production. If not, we will move on to the next unit. Okay. Thank you. See you all tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you, Rohan.